Hey, welcome to World Entertainment. And following on from the news, of course, that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, that, of course, also went hand in hand with the fact that the Russo brothers are coming back to direct both of those movies. Now, I said it with the RDJ news, and it's the same thing with this. This is just pure desperation at this stage, because we'll have a look at what this little article here says about it. Not that it really kind of goes into much about the Russos coming back. It just kind of gives you a hint of what they're doing. But we can also just look at what's still to come. That just proves that it's desperation and nothing's really going to change. So this is all coming hot on the heels, of course, of Deadpool and Wolverine smashing the box office with its opening weekend. And of course, the bigger news over the weekend was Robert Downey Jr. coming back. And oddly enough, the Russo brothers' return is kind of getting overshadowed, as is all the other things that were spoken about, and oddly enough, not spoken about when it came to the Marvel panel. So, as we now know, the Kang Dynasty has been officially retitled Doomsday and will release in May 2026. As for Avengers Secret War, that's set to follow a year later in May of 2027, and it says presumably ending the multiverse saga. Now, how exactly could that end the multiverse saga when they've just done this massive U-turn in the middle of it? Because the whole multiverse thing was set up through Kang, and now we've heard nothing about what they're actually doing with Kang, what the plan is moving forward with that character. And apparently I saw an article saying that originally Kang was meant to appear somewhere in Deadpool and Wolverine, but of course that's all gone out the window. So that's the news on the Kang Dynasty being changed into Doomsday. Secret Wars obviously staying as Secret War, just that it won't be him. It's all now going to be Doctor Doom. And it continued saying, however, by far the biggest news to come out of the hour-long Hall H panel was the revelation that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Doctor Doom. It sounds like he'll appear in both upcoming Avengers movies, and as expected, those will be directed by Avengers Endgame helmers Joe and Anthony Russo. They've steered Marvel Studios to huge success in the past, so it makes perfect sense to trust them with the multiverse saga's two most important projects. Now, does it mean that they're going to end it? Probably not. Why does it also make sense to trust them with the multiverse saga when they've had nothing to do with the multiverse saga? That's another issue. Like, you're bringing them in to do two movies in a whole story narrative that they had absolute zero connection to, and you're just going to dump them in at the deep end, really, because not just has the last two phases been a disaster with the multiverse of crap, but Kang has just been taken out of it, and they've been told you have to put this in there to try and fix it, even though everything else up to this point was Kang related. Through Loki, through Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and all that other crap. It was all Kang. And of course, the end of Quantumania really set up that Kang was going to be the ultimate force, because we saw the whole, what are they called? Council of Kangs, is it? Can't remember what they're called. Where it was just like this gigantic football stadium, filled from top to bottom, out in the field, everything Kangs, and it was all Jonathan Majors. Now that's all gone, with no explanation as to how and why that's going to work, and you've just dropped these two directors in to say, hey, fix our fuck-ups, because that's what you've basically done. Now again, people got super hyped about seeing Robert Downey Jr., and why wouldn't you? You know, it's Robert Downey Jr. Again though, how desperate is it that they've had to pull him out? Like, the irony of pulling him out, it's basically them taking a Hail Mary throw for, even though there's 2 seconds left on the clock and you're already 40 points down, but you just want one extra point, so you take that out. It's not going to make a difference. That's the issue. Deadpool and Wolverine, of course, is smashing the box office right now. But as we said, that's not going to change anything. That's not going to fix anything. Because what have we got next? Well, next month or the month after, we get Agatha All Along. Yeah, a holdover pile of crap that went through like 7 different names. And then, of course, we get Captain America Brave New World, a movie that they filmed 3 times and is still said to be an absolute disaster. And now Kevin Feige is coming out and saying, oh, Brave New World is actually going to be the most important movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe moving forward. Really? That's the line you want to put onto this movie that's going to be a disaster? A movie that has to make over $1 billion just to break even. And of course, he has said that about multiple films. He said Captain Marvel was going to be one of the most important characters and important movies moving forward in the MCU. No, it wasn't. You didn't need to watch that movie at all to go into Endgame. And she did nothing after it. And then, of course, the Marvels came out. And we know what that turned into. Then, of course, we're going to be getting Ironheart. That's still listed to come out. As is Daredevil Born Again, which they've reshot a crap ton of times. The Ironheart is still being held over. Oh, and by the way, as for the Kevin Feige still saying other movies that were so important, yeah, he said that about the Eternals. I'm pretty sure he said that about Echo. You know, then of course, what movies do you get as well? The Thunderbolts. That thing is still coming out. They even had these people out on stage. This is what I'm saying. The Russo brothers being brought back and Robert Downey Jr. has covered all the crap about what else was on that stage for that hour, where they brought out the cast for Captain America Brave New World, or should we say Captain African America, because he's not Captain America, he's not Steve Rogers. They were out there promoting that. Thunderbolts, they were all out there promoting that. David Harbour came out as Red Guardian on the stage for that crap. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. Of course, we get Fantastic Four First Steps coming out. And then, of course, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War. Now, the interesting thing is, absolutely not one single thing on there is brand new. We knew every single one of these was already coming. The only new part about anything in here is that Kang Dynasty has been renamed to Doomsday, and Fantastic Four has now had the added title of First Steps. What have you noticed isn't on that list that they announced? There's one big movie that 5 years ago, yes, this Comic-Con makes it 5 years ago was announced. That's right, we're talking about Blade. Blade was not mentioned at all in that hour in Hall H. Blade is omitted from this list that they were showing was of things that were coming. Where is Blade? And why should we get excited for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War? What, because Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in those movies? But he's not going to be Tony Stark Iron Man. Nor are the Avengers going to be the Avengers. We're not getting Steve Rogers Captain America, Tony Stark Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow. You probably get the Hulk, God knows. No, you're going to get this type of crap where Captain African America is your lead, with the likes of Echo and America Chavez and Ms. Marvel and Shang-Chi and She-Hulk. Like, that's not the Avengers. I'm sorry, that's not the Avengers. And that's not the Avengers people are meant to be getting excited about. No. So, again, what exactly are we supposed to get excited about? When you look again at Agatha All Along, Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. What's there to get excited about? Nothing. So pulling out the Russo brothers and Robert Downey Jr. is absolute 100% pure desperation. And it showed. I'm hearing people already saying, oh, at least they're trying to admit to their failures and they're trying to do something to fix it. What? 4 years later? What? Why would you try and fix it 4 years later? Especially when the first wave started to flop. That's when you fix it. You don't run it into the ground and then say, hey, maybe we should try and fix this. No. Kevin Feige doubled down on everything. Don't forget, this is the guy who, even before Endgame came out, said he wants there to be more female heroes and villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe than the male heroes. That's what he said. And just look at that list. It's absolutely true. Agatha all along. Thunderbolts. Ironheart. Like, come on. We know what these movies are going to be. Fantastic Four, we know, is meant to be focusing more on Sue Storm rather than the group. It's like, are you serious? So, yeah. Tell me you're desperate without telling me you're desperate by bringing your big hitters back. And I'm not going to be surprised at all if we hear more of them are being brought back, but they're going to be brought back as villain forms. It's going to be what they're probably going to do, and they're probably going to screw it all up again, because the multiverse was a massive mistake, as was the 5-year blip. But what's the point in trying to get that last point with that Hail Mary throw at the end of the game? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.